Morning, guys. Okay. You'll have to forgive the voice. I have a little bit of a cold. I'm just getting over. Thankfully, I didn't die. I just want to remind people that we've gone through 4 years of just abject insanity, where a political establishment, the left and the right, tried to inject people with experimental jabs that only now we're learning about the consequences of. But I'm going to try to keep this as concise as possible, and I really need to get people to understand a couple things. We're going to talk about the debate now. I'm seeing a lot of mudslinging, and it's also absurd. It is all so absurd. And to put that into a nutshell for you, I'm going to play. Okay, so here's how it works, okay? The left, Kamala, she plays stupid. She is a Marxist. Marxists play stupid and they say things to inflame their opponents. This is how it works. This is in Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. This is what you do. You accuse the other side of doing what you're doing. This is not a defense of Trump. I'm asking you to think critically for a few minutes, because there's some things going on in this world that are sick. And that's what you need to understand. That's what you need to understand about what happened a couple days ago. So what they are doing is they're appealing to low information voters, people that are not really that concerned with much of anything at all, people that are wildly superficial, people that don't actually want to have to do the work to learn what's going on in the world. They just want someone else to tell them what's going on. They want to hear headlines that agree with their opinions. I shared a meme this morning of Kamala Harris standing over Trump in a boxing ring, and a person that I care for and respect thought it was hilarious. And I think it's hilarious too, because it shows the depth of the superficiality problem happening in the world right now. People just don't know what they don't know. And that's being used as a weapon against us by a group of people that are literally bringing the world to the brink of World War III to distract from the crimes that they did. Okay, these are treasonous people. They literally committed treason on individuals and individual rights. And I've written about that extensively. I've spoken about that extensively. And I know most people can't understand what I'm saying most of the time, and that's, at least they're trying. At least the people that are trying to understand what I'm saying are getting somewhere. Whereas the people that are just going, he's just so crazy. You're not learning anything about this particular moment in time. And I'm not accusing you of anything. I am saying it's not me who's the judge of what's happening right now. And it's not me who is going to cause all the terrible things that are happening right now. It is the same establishment that's telling you that you don't need to think about it. You don't need to concern yourself with all the details. Just look at this funny meme. Kamala trounced Trump. Now, the only way that you can maintain this stuff is by lying with such reckless abandon. It has now become perfectly clear to anybody with half a brain that what we're being told is not in line with what is actually happening. I'm going to give you a couple examples, and this is where I have to ask people humbly to just think. Because if you don't start thinking, we all get fucked. That's the truth. That's the reality. That's where we're at. Okay. Open your minds. Open your eyes. There's some seriously dark stuff going on. Let's describe the size of the problem.
Keep in mind that since the end of May, when Donald Trump was convicted of felony counts, we've had a disastrous debate, an assassination attempt, something like a palace coup, a rudderless executive branch. Nothing about this election cycle is in any way normal. And within essentially a week or maybe 8 days of each other, there were attempts to remove both Donald Trump and Joe Biden from the electoral process.
Right. Quite extraordinary. I want to play a clip that I know has exercised you enormously. It's of California Governor Gavin.
Okay, just to be clear, I'm not saying that this is Eric Weinstein. He's a theoretical physicist. He's been on Joe Rogan multiple times. He closes this particular interview with some words that I will play for you after. So just keep in mind, I'm not endorsing anything. I'm just getting you to recognize where we're at. I'm trying. Anyways, I try with my writing. Now I'm trying with my verbal abilities, which are clearly disheveled and thrown off this morning because of the size of what's going on, and I don't know how to get people to understand it. But this is a theoretical physicist pointing out that the people that are in charge are lying openly to us, and they think it's funny. And it's not difficult to see. Okay, ready?
Gavin Newsom reacting to the switch.
Gavin Newsom.
Let's do it.
How are you feeling about the switch? I mean, the switch. Now we went through a very open process, a very inclusive process. It was bottom up. I don't know if you know that. Yes, that's what I've been told to say. Yes.
That's
And
what I've been
you,
told to say.
Responded to this by saying, I think it's
So just so we're clear, the guy goes on TV, lies through his teeth, makes a joke about it, makes a joke of the entire political process. It's out there for everyone to see, but very few people will actually look for it. That's where we're at. Very few people want to understand the size of the problems that we currently face as a world. Even now, me saying this to people will make them go like they crack. If you crack, then the desired effect is being had upon you and your mind and your soul, for that matter. Don't crack. Grow up. Grow up. Seriously. I'm not a perfect person. I am a sinner. I'm all those things. But I've been trying to make myself a better person legitimately. I've been trying to reach out to people legitimately. I'm speaking truth legitimately. I'm telling you what I'm finding in every way, shape, and form in the most honest fashion that I can possibly muster. Everyone else is telling you something they want you to believe. Now, a lot of people won't like Eric Weinstein because he works for Peter Thiel, and Peter Thiel is buddies with Elon Musk. And Elon's been doing some very interesting stuff since the debate. Okay, we'll get back to that. Bear with me. The world is a very dark place right now, and we all need a little more light. And if you can't open your eyes, you won't see the light. You won't spread it amongst the people around you, your friends and family. You won't protect your kids. Do you care about your kids? You better start paying attention to what's going on. Because these people that make empty promises and act in ways that are wildly superficial do not care about your kids. And we will get to that. They don't care about any kids. They don't care about life. They don't care about the sanctity of life. That's true. That's real. They don't even believe life is real. I like to watch the All In podcast, and they just had their yearly thing where they bring on a bunch of people, and Elon Musk comes out and speaks to the one host, and they both say, well, we both agree we live in a simulation. Okay. If you think you live in a simulation, what is life? What is it? Does it matter? That's speculative. That's theoretical. Now I will give you concrete examples of what life looks like right now on this planet. And it ain't pretty. Okay, let's keep going with this because he's going to say some very interesting things. And I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but the ability to think outside of your tiny little bubble is the only thing that is going to help us help each other. So if you can't start doing that, you're not only condemning me, you're condemning yourself. You're condemning the whole world. It's fascinating. That's the place that we're at right now. It's kind of unbelievable. It's also really true. So if you think that the Marxist cares about you, I can assure you she does not. She does not care about your family. The people echoing her sentiments don't care about your life, in so much that they care about what your life is like. The only thing they care about is political power. And people that embrace that as the only thing they care about sound like Gavin Newsom. They are demented. The way that they're acting is psychotic. It's undeniably psychotic. And I will prove it to you. Just, you have to give me a minute.
This is the most directly I've ever been lied to by a politician. It's a lie preceded by a confession. I've never seen that. I mean, it really was. It was like the whole secret game laid bare in literally one long sentence.
Well, it's very similar to when Gavin Newsom cleaned up San Francisco because Xi was expected for dinner.
Yeah.
You know, the entire political charade has come crashing down. Nobody can believe anything that is being said, and so that's
6.
I'll skip this. That's not true, that nobody can believe anything that's being said.
Years ago,
What he's actually saying
2
is
years later,
that
I lost
if you
everything.
believe
Mountains.
people that lie
That's
with
not-
reckless abandon, you can't believe anything that's being said. So it's not that nobody can believe anything that's being said. It's that if you don't start with a principled approach to truth and reason, you can't understand what's being said. If you understand that the political class, almost all of it, is lying to us for their own reasons, you can understand what's being said. If we don't hold these people to account, if we don't call them out on their treason, it's going to get a lot worse. Literally, we're on the brink of World War III because these people are so demented. They would take the entire world to the brink of destruction just to not admit that what they've been doing is not really about you. It's about them and their political power. It's even more demented than that, and I've tried to explain that, and I know it's confusing for people, but let's just stick with what we can actually see in the material world as it unfolds, okay?
game is anymore. It's not a question of getting people to believe. These are instructions that you're being sent as to what you are supposed to act as if you believe, right? You're supposed to act as if you believe that there was an inclusive process that took one of the least beloved politicians of all time, Kamala Harris, and elevated her to America's sweetheart, within the space of a few hours. I just don't understand how rational people who are supposed to be our doctors, our accountants, our engineers who build bridges that don't collapse, how anybody who can solve a partial differential equation is supposed to go along with this. I have no clue, because you have to understand that technical people, it's not personal. There's just right and there's wrong, and everything about this is so completely wrong from first principles that I would say that what we're doing is we're telling everyone with an IQ over 85, you're unwelcome as part of the electorate, because you're simply not going to be able to hold the illusion.
It's completely true. And there was a willful deceit of the American people.
Okay, so what are they saying? They're saying that people that are pushing the DNC's line of reasoning are appealing to the lowest common denominator of society. I'm not saying this to insult them. I'm saying it because it's true. And people that would lie to you for their own reasons are not your friend. I don't know how else to explain that. People that would lie to you with reckless abandon for their own reasons, not for you, for their own selfish, demented reasons, are not our friends. Okay. And he does say something about even having a touch of Asperger's. Now, it's been joked amongst some of my family and friends that I have a touch of the Asperger's, and I wouldn't deny that, because I've always felt like there was something off with me. I don't know what that is, but I always felt awkward around people and things, and in situations where I felt like what we were being taught in school was silly, because often it was, because they were trying to build a case where people who don't think that much, or don't think outside of what's going to be beneficial for them, are rooted out of the system. And so as a consequence, I'm out of the system. I've been pushed to the outside, not just by the system that builds for compliance and compliant people, but because those compliant people act, I've tried to make this metaphor a million times because it's perfect. In the Matrix, the woman in the red dress turns around and she's an agent. So they're weaponizing the not so intelligent people against themselves and everyone else. Okay. You want to trust those kind of people? Okay. By the way, I'm not saying it's the left or the right. I don't play that game. I play individual versus the collective because that's the game that's being played. Okay. I did say I was gonna, you know what, let's just go to the end and we'll see what happens.
I really do worry that Washington has sort of moved on from the electorate. They understand that the electorate is a problem, and they're not so thrilled about free speech. They're not so thrilled about people voting. And honestly, I really feel like the State Department should probably be leading I don't know what to call it, an approach to the American people and say, look, we've been acting on your behalf. We can't talk to you about everything because it involves geopolitics and strategy. We do think there's corruption in the system. Maybe we've made some missteps. But we've got a serious problem that every 4 years we can't put the whole thing at risk with candidates who might topple that order. And, I would say that Tulsi, RFK Jr., and Donald Trump were all people who were willing to threaten that order in order to end the cycles of wars abroad. And I have a very strong sense that all of those people are considered to be children from the perspective of the permanent geopolitical management group.
Finally, Eric, what is the one thing, whoever wins it?
So, again, the establishment, and I wrote about this, what is the source of the, I can't remember the name of it. I tried to explain to you guys using ChatGPT, doing a dialogue, what creates this room for what can only be called evil to step in and occupy the halls of power. Because once these people start lying, and once the system itself becomes corrupt, it becomes a self-feeding mechanism, and it tries to take over everyone's individual lives, and that's just a fact. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. There's a reason that's a very well-known phrase. But most people don't think about it. And that's where the corruption sets in. Because most people, they don't want to think about it, they don't want to know about it, and that's how it all gets so corrupt. So what I'm saying is, when people don't engage with things beyond themselves, that's how this all happens. It doesn't need to be nefarious. Not from the point of view from the people doing what they're doing. They become wildly bigoted about everyone else, and then they start projecting. This is a human psychological condition. Okay. And it's real. And it happens. And it's happening again, except this time the stakes are much, much higher. Okay. Let's go and let him finish up, because he's going to say something I'm going to say. What did he just say? You ready? Okay, where am I?
The election. What is the one most important thing that a new president of the United States could do that would significantly transform the United States for the better?
Disclosure.
On everything.
I mean, look, well, it's not on everything, because you can't. There's a lot of, if we do not get this COVID disclosure done about why were 77 Nobel laureates enlisted to protect the EcoHealth Alliance and a zoologist named Peter Daszak in the Wuhan lab situation in China. If we don't figure out what happened with JFK and why we don't have all of the documents, even though it's 60 years on, if we cannot ask why it is that our inflation gauge is broken, it doesn't reflect what everybody's experiencing at the pump and in our supermarkets. If we cannot fundamentally ask why do we seem to be encircling Moscow, if we cannot get to ground truth, really anywhere, if we can't talk about what is going on with this reproductive mutilation situation with our children, if we cannot have open conversations about these sorts of things, we are going to continue to search for shadowy figures. And that's going to be a disaster for everyone. It's going to be the Jews that are the problem. It's going to be the World Economic Forum that's behind this all. It's going to be the Freemasons. It's going to be everything that we can't see is going to be suspected of denaturing our country. The most important thing is to go back to the hearings of the 70s and 80s, the church hearing, the Church and Pike committees, the Iran-Contra, all of the hearings that exposed what we were actually up to, so that we can self-correct, including putting this UFO thing to rest. We need disclosure because what we're so used to is being lied to that we are effectively completely inert to this, and we're insensitive. We don't feel anything. This is not a normal state of affairs. We've got to get rid of the level of lying and deception.
Very Weinstein, brilliant to talk to you. Again, thank you so much for coming on Census.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. So he wants disclosure, even about the UFO thing. Is anybody else listening to this stuff? Okay. So I've written extensively about that particular issue. We'll just go a little bit more about the actual debate, and I want to show to you the kind of craven lying coming from the left, unfortunately. I'm not, because of that, saying the right's better, but I want to show you what's happening. And it has to do with disclosure. This is all about disclosure. What are they disclosing? That's the really interesting part. Okay. This is just too much. Okay, you ready? Here goes Cenk Uygur, one of the biggest liars on the planet. He's so full of shit, it's mind-boggling. But he thinks you're stupid. So he will just fucking lie to you up and down, right and left. But maybe he's actually just insane. That's entirely possible too. Maybe he's actually of the state of mind that if he doesn't lie to you, just like the people in Washington and the CIA and the Pentagon and all the intelligence services, all these people think that if they don't lie to you, you're not going to be able to handle it. And the other side is pushing disclosure. Disclosure of all of the lies, all of the bullshit. But are they necessarily working against one another? Nope. No, they're working synergistically with one another. That needs to be understood. This is all about disclosure. This is all about where did life come from? This is all about getting you to make a choice. This is all about getting you to understand that there are things bigger than yourself. So in that regard, there is a mass awakening happening. And if you're listening to me, which very few people are, and I understand that, and I empathize with that, because I don't even like the stuff that's coming out of my mouth. But it's true. It's all true. It's all true. And I wish, you know, I should go downstairs and do like an actual, I used to stream about this stuff, but I understood how crazy it was 4 years ago. And that's how it brought me to God. Because that's what we're talking about. That's what disclosure is all about. And the person they're going to try to disclose is not who you think it's going to be. That's my guess. Okay. But the point is, everybody is lying, and now it's all being exposed. And that's a good thing, because these are the kind of conversations that the general public has not been having. And that's the source of the problem I was just telling you about. Because people don't want to talk about it, it gets corrupted. Okay, ready? Let's listen to Cenk. He's so crazy. This is so great. So I'm just gonna. The reason I'm doing this, by the way, is because I'm gonna just show you that these people are nuts. Okay, and they're acting in such a way that they're so disingenuous, they're so full of shit that it's like it's being exposed on purpose. It's like we're getting a slow motion disclosure in such a fun and exciting way that everybody starts to pay attention and then share cat memes from Springfield. So that's ultimately a good thing. It's ultimately a good thing if you make the choice to realize that it's ultimately a good thing. That's important.
You know what, Piers? I pardon you. Okay.
All right, let's move on.
So seriously, look, I was on here after the Biden-Trump debate, and I said Biden got annihilated, and he did, right? You have to be fair and objective, and I think you were in the intro here. There's no question that...
For the record, I think Biden was faking too. I don't think he has dementia. I don't think all these people saying that he was sick. No, it's all been an act. The same way that Kamala was an act. And so when Kamala came out and gave the impression that she beat Trump, how did she do that? By not acting retarded. That was all she had to do. She had to not act retarded. So for months, years, she's been acting retarded. There's clips going all over the place of her acting retarded. And I know people don't like that word, but there's no other word to describe a person who is acting stupid when they know better. They're acting like they can't think beyond the things that they're saying, but that's not true. That's the definition of retarded. So she's been acting like she can't think beyond the things that she's been shown in wildly viral clips on X, especially. X is the place where everything is happening right now. If you're not paying attention on X, you're not paying attention to anything. Like, if you, X at least is where the truth is definitely coming out, but it's not being done in such a way that it's actually being honest either. So X is performing a role, just like Elon is. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's go back to Cenk. Like, the question I have is, does this guy know he's just like bull-faced lying? With everything he says is just bizarre. So Cenk's probably a Marxist too. That's probably a bit, that's, you know. Or maybe he's actually wildly caught up in the delusional world that he has created for himself. It's difficult to say. He could just be wildly corrupt. But he's so full of shit, and I will show you in just a second.
Trump got annihilated here. And MAGA has the same problem that the establishment has. The establishment thinks that everybody thinks like them. And they think, oh my God, doesn't everybody love the status quo? No. The overwhelming majority of the country constantly wants change because
True.
their lives are not as good as the millionaire anchors on television.
True.
But television anchors just cannot get that through their heads, right? And they love
He's a television anchor. I hate to point this out, but he's a television anchor. Okay.
And MAGA has the same problem because they think, oh, doesn't everybody know that Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs? I saw an out-of-context video online that right-wing media told me was Haitians. Oh, that's it. All the immigrants are eating cats and dogs. Look, MAGA, you're not getting it. No one else thinks that. First of all, it's not true. The local cops say it's not true. Everybody says it's not true. But not only that, the rest of the country doesn't think like you. So when you say stuff like that, you sound unhinged. When you insist Trump still won the election as Trump did last night, you sound unhinged. When you talk about post-birth abortions, that's not a thing that exists. I know in your mind you think it does, but A, it doesn't. In objective reality, that's just called murder. And there is no such law in America at all. Right-wing media lied to you through and through and tricked you. But most importantly, the people that are going to decide this election are not MAGA, are not establishment. They're guys in the middle. And when they see Trump talking about eating cats and dogs and executing babies, he looks nuts, and it drives them all into Kamala Harris's arms. So if you're MAGA, you should be furious at Trump tonight.
Okay,
Today.
let me go to Tommy first of all.
Okay. So that's Cenk doing his spiel, saying that nobody's eating cats and there's no such thing as murder happening. And the most important part is that he wants you to believe that nobody is talking about murder. That's the most important role that Cenk is playing right now. He's telling you, don't believe your lying eyes, don't believe your lying ears. He's playing a game where he lies about everything, and he's playing his role when talking about the debate the other night, because Kamala just lied up and down, left and right. That's all she did was lie. Marxists lie to infuriate the other side. This is a strategy they deploy and employ. They lie. They just lie and lie and lie. Now, why do they lie? They lie because they want you to believe the illusion that they are trying to portray. I'm going to smash that illusion for you right now. Okay. And the role that Elon is playing, Elon is also smashing illusions. So here's what Piers and Cenk don't seem to understand, or maybe they do understand and they're just part of the whole operation. It is an operation being run by who, it's difficult to say. I mean, I have my conclusions that sound crazy, but is it crazier than the world today? Again, brink of World War III, they're literally talking about murder as if it's fine. I'll prove it to you. And there's people You're gonna say eating cats, not eating cats. Okay, whatever. Why don't we listen to this nice young girl explain something? Okay. Okay.
My father immigrated from Haiti to the United States in the late 60s as a teenager. And I want to talk about these recent comments about the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. First, I want to say my father and I are now estranged, but I did know him in my very, very young years. And when he immigrated, he was one person, and they weren't sending, thousands of Haitians in one area. He wasn't eating people's pets, and he didn't practice voodoo. But he did say that most of the island, the majority of the island, does practice voodoo. The reason they eat cats is for two reasons. Number one is survival. This is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. You can't just go to a food bank like you can here, or just go to McDonald's and get some free or cheap food. Unless, of course, there's a Christian missionary there. People in the United States have a really hard time imagining that type of thing, but it is true. Second, they do animal sacrifices for their religion.
She said doo-doo.
Voodoo. They make these animal sacrifices to these gods for different reasons. You can do your own research on this. Do I think voodoo is a demonic religion? Yes. I do. That doesn't mean that you hate these people. These people need prayer. But you can't just take over all these people from another country and expect it to work. Not to mention, it doesn't fix the problems of that country. And there's more people left in Haiti that we can bring over. It's not racist to acknowledge that this is a problem. It's not racist to talk about these things that are happening. This is not just white Americans saying this is black Americans. You can look at the people in Springfield, Ohio saying that this is happening. Y'all just want to joke about Trump and say that he's crazy for saying that this is happening instead of actually checking at all to see if this is happening. You want to make jokes about these things. Well, what if it were happening to you in your community? And no, it's beyond eating their pets, even though that is bad enough.
Okay. So again, don't believe your lying eyes. Okay. Now I'm going to say something that's going to be disturbing. So fair warning. It's not going to be, look, we'll just show one more thing because this is just fun and funny.
Deserving. So it wasn't only about that they were standing in the way of surgery.
For prisoners.
And there was a specific case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need. And I believe it was not only, I know it was historic in California, but I believe actually it may have been one of the first, if not the first in the country, where I pushed for that policy in a Department of Corrections. That they were standing in the way of...
Okay. So again... That's crazy. So she knows this stuff's out there. She's not stupid. She's not stupid. She just plays stupid on the internet. And she knows this stuff's out there. And she knows people are going to go find it and share it on X. People like Elon Musk, who retweeted that video. So what role is Elon Musk playing? It's literally on the internet. Okay, so what role is Elon Musk playing? Elon Musk is playing disclosure. Elon Musk thinks we live in a simulation, so he says. Oh, by the way, you should go check this out too. It's all the truth's coming out. The mRNA COVID vaccines manufacturing process wasn't tested in clinical trials. No dose or biodistribution control. Look, go find it. Retzef Levy. I shared it on my X. You can go on my X, Andrew Corner. I don't hide who I am. I don't hide what I think. I'm telling you the truth to the best of my ability. Dr. Asim Malhotra reposted that. Okay? Let's keep going. Now we're going to get to the disturbing stuff. Oh, you know what? And again, what is Trump? So Trump did the setup. Trump supposedly fell for all the the tricks that Kamala was throwing at him, but really they're working together synergistically to bring about disclosure. So they know that some people are going to choose to go, oh, it's so ridiculous. Trump is ridiculous, and Kamala kicked his butt. And then everybody else that is capable of critical thinking is going to go out there to the internet to people that they think are telling the truth, like myself. Hopefully, I'm just trying to help. And they will realize, oh shit, it's all true. Like this. Elon Musk is sharing this. You are being lied to. Fact check. In last night's 3-on-1 debate, the ABC News moderators used misleading crime data from the FBI to fact check real Donald Trump. The reality is that Trump, as he usually is, was right. Crime is not down, it is way, way up. So again, look, it's tricks. It's all tricks and games. And it's also creating a scenario where people go out and seek disclosure. They're seeking the truth now. People that are becoming awakened wonders, as Russell Brand likes to call them, are out seeking the truth. People are listening to Joe Rogan. They're seeking the truth. They know we're being lied to on a massive fucking scale about almost everything. Almost everything. Okay, I'm going to try to not get too excited. Okay. Now I'm getting excited because I'm going to show you something that's sick. And to do so, I want to get rid of this noise in the background. It's too much. I want to make sure you can hear this clearly. And again, fair warning. This one's going to be about abortion. Where they said, nobody says, and Cenk said, nobody wants to kill babies after they're born. Okay, you've been warned.
Of abortion providers, removing language classifying facilities that perform 5 or more first trimester abortions per month as hospitals. It would repeal Virginia's informed consent mandatory ultrasound and 24-hour delay. It would repeal the requirement that second trimester abortions be performed in a hospital licensed by the State Department of Health. It would repeal the requirement for 2 additional physicians in cases of third trimester abortions.
Delegate Tran.
Yes, sir.
How late in a pregnancy would your bill apply if a physician was simply willing to certify that the continuation of the pregnancy would impair the mental health of the woman? How late are we talking about?
Well, so the way the suggestion that we've made in the bill is to say it's in the third trimester and at the with the certification of the physician. So
how late in the third trimester would you be able to do that?
It's very unfortunate that our physicians, witnesses, were not able to attend today to speak specifically.
No, I'm talking about your bill. How late in the third trimester could a physician perform an abortion if he indicated?
I just want to interject here for a second because this is sick. And if you watch this woman's mannerisms, she knows it's sick. She knows it's sick. What would compel people to act in this way? It's demented. Now, is there a case where, by the way, I'm pro-choice, but I think abortion should be legal and rare, but not up to the point of birth. That is murder. Cenk, you sick motherfucker. That's murder. You fucking lying piece of shit. What is wrong with you? Let's keep listening. Oh, you will notice these people saying, well, I'm not a physician. I'm not a physician. These are ideologues, okay? There was the Kentenji, I can't remember her name, the woman that was being confirmed for the Supreme Court that said, I'm not a biologist. I don't know, I'm not a biologist. These people want the world of experts to control everything and anything. And at the exact same time that these experts themselves, these white-collar workers, are being replaced by artificial intelligence. This is a cult. It's real. What you're seeing happening in the world is not in your imagination. It's actually happening. And I want you to think about what that means. That's what I write about all the time. We are undergoing a slow motion disclosure. It's real. It's happening. It's happening whether you want it to or not. So if you ignore it, you do so at your own peril. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to help people connect with God before it's too late. And I know how that sounds. I sound black-pilled and crazy. World War III. Killing babies. That's the world we are objectively living in. It's fucked. We need God. Just not an artificial intelligence God that they're going to tell us is coming out of the machine. The aliens that Brett Weinstein and Eric Weinstein like to wax on poetic about, and I've written about that. You need to read between the lines of what's being said. I don't know what motivates these people. I've guessed that it's probably a belief system of some sort that's very ancient. But certainly something has coerced these people into believing these monstrous lies. It's just... You feel it? And I also know that I feel guilty because I feel like I'm driving people crazy. Because I may sound crazy, but I'm not fucking crazy. This stuff is happening. It's happening right in front of you. You just have to open your eyes and see it. You just have to open your eyes and see it. And if you did that, we could do something about it. But if you don't, and you won't, then we can't. It is literally that simple. That's amazing. Okay, back to the sick shit. I'm not a physician. The woman that comes in after this woman that's a lawyer is sick.
It would impair the mental health of the woman.
Or physical health.
Okay. I'm talking about the mental health.
So, I mean, through the third trimester. The third trimester goes all the way up to 40 weeks.
Okay, but to the end of the third trimester.
Yep, I don't think we have a limit in the bill.
So,
Look at the mannerisms.
where it's obvious that a woman is about to give birth, she has physical signs of that she's about to give a birth, would that still be a point at which she could request an abortion if she was so certified? She's dilating.
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman
I understand that. I'm asking
point.
if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
I certainly could have said a week from her due date, and that would have been the same answer, correct?
That is allowed in the bill, yes.
And in addition to what you just represented, you do acknowledge that you substantially changed the standard by removing a couple of words here, correct? Substantially in your
Just
medium. I'm sorry, line 80. Line 80.
I'm sorry, can you just let me know? I think I'm in the right part that you're looking at as well.
Line 80.
Line 80, you are changing the standard under which the
Yeah.
judgment
Yes,
call is
I'm
made.
aware.
For an abortion at any point in the third trimester. You're changing the
I'm
standard.
changing the standard, yes.
Okay, all right. What type of mental health conditions would you anticipate would be utilized by physicians under these circumstances to determine that a child that is otherwise viable is worthy of an abortion?
This is sick stuff. And it's ideology. What kind of ideology would allow for the murder of a baby? Really? Let's get to the lawyer, because she's just too much. I mean, when she comes out,
Again,
the way that these people deflect responsibility for the things that they are doing, this is a cult of death. It's not your imagination. It's real. This is a death cult. Okay. And the other thing that they keep saying is, well, I'm not a physician, I can't comment. This is called plausible deniability. They're denying that everything that they're doing is happening. Well, I don't really. I mean, I'm just here presenting. I'm just here at the podium telling you what it says in the bill. But you know what it says in the bill. Yeah, I mean, I know what it says in the bill. I'm not a physician. This is sick. When you embrace death as a culture, don't be surprised when it comes back to bite you in the ass.
Conditions that a woman could be experiencing in a third trimester late term result to protect
This
any
woman is.
competency in the late term.
I mean, like, just this is. I don't think we need to argue anymore about the concept of selling your soul. Shit. It's real. Oh, I almost lost thing. Okay, I hope I didn't lose it. I probably just lost the bit. Oh, and by the way, these artificial intelligences, they're working in real time on these platforms. You need to know that. You need to know that. Look at the look on this woman's face when they're looking at the other person that's supposed to go along with the things that they're trying to push on people. These people, look at those faces. They know what they're doing. They know what they're embracing. They deflect blame on others, so it's like, oh, well, I'm just doing my job. Where have we heard that before? I'm just doing my job. All these people that like to say that, the right wing is Nazis. They were the ones that were the toughest on everybody during the course of the pandemic. They wanted to force masks on your children. They wanted to enforce genetic experiments on our children, on us, on you. And those people all said, well, it's not my fault. I was just doing my job. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And absolute power comes from the middle of the mob that pretends that they don't have a say in it. You do have a say. You're the only one that has a say. You're the only one that can save your soul and mine and those of my children and your children and everybody's fucking children. This is sick. Wake the fuck up.
So, hi, I'm really short. That's okay. I don't have a lot of specific examples because I'm not a physician.
She's not a physician.
I'm an attorney. So, and we unfortunately do not have the physicians could not be here today because they are seeing patients at the moment.
You understand how sick that is? We're just presenting a bill that says we can murder babies, but the doctors couldn't make it. They're all too busy. This is sick. There's a sickness in our world that's being exposed by people like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, through whatever actions they're taking. I'm not saying that they're trying to save everybody. I'm just saying that you can argue it all day long if you want, but there is something happening out there. It's undeniable. And you can pretend to not see it as much as you like. It sees you. You can't escape this stuff. People need to stop pretending this isn't happening. That's why it's happening.
I know that there are certain central nervous system anomalies that cannot be determined until later stages in the pregnancy. I also know that certain anomalies like the absence of certain organs.
Okay, so you're talking about the child. Let me just leave that out of the equation then. In terms of the health or life of the mother, what conditions are there that can't be resolved by delivering the child rather than undergoing an abortion?
Again, I'm not a physician. What I can point to a case that happened in Ireland.
Just so we're clear. Understand what these people are saying when they say that. I'm not a physician. They're saying it's not my fault. It's not my responsibility. They go up there to the podium and get paid decent sums of money to tell you that everything's happening, that they're pushing, that they are undeniably pushing. It's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault. I'm not even a doctor. I don't even understand that. I'm just a lawyer that put all the words together, but I don't understand what they mean. You have to repent. It's not me you got a problem with. I'm not coming for your soul. I didn't sell it for you. It's not me that you're going to have to contend with.
That's the first one that comes to my mind. that I'm happy to find for you and send you the article about. I can definitely send you that article, and if you'll give me some time, I can ask our physicians to provide you with a list of maladies that can lead to a woman
Look at the
having to have
pie.
an abortion at the late stage of pregnancy. I do know that those cases exist.
But you don't know what they are.
Like I said, not a physician. I do not have.
I'm an idiot. I'm just dumb. I don't understand what I'm doing.
Okay. All right. And again, since you yielded, you don't have any. I'm talking to you now, Elliot. You don't have any specifics on that, obviously.
No, I don't. I'm not a physician.
Okay. Well, we're talking about a lot of physician stuff here, and nobody appears to know the answer, and the doctors aren't here. So, it would have been helpful maybe to have those questions answered.
Yeah, it would have been helpful. This is dark, dark stuff, guys. I mean, like, this is dark stuff. I don't want to have to share it with you. But it's like people don't want to look at the world as it really is right now, and that's weird to me. Because you can't run and hide. And
Tommy, want to play that clip?
we'll just I'm just going to say one more thing, because
what they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
okay, you know what? I'm actually it's all such a clown show. Do you see it? And everybody's sharing all these memes about eating cats, and they're hilarious. I mean, you gotta laugh. Clown World is amusing, if nothing else. Okay, that's enough ranting from me. I invite you all to start reading this stuff I'm writing, because it can help, I think, if you open your eyes to the larger world that is trying to suck in your soul right now. For real. I'm not kidding. Sorry. May God bless you all. May He open your eyes. May He save your souls. May He have mercy on us all. It's not too late. Okay. Love you guys.